మిత్రులారా, బంధువులారా, వనక్కము, స్వాగతము to South Asia Maps Education Channel. This is your presenter Dr. J. Reddy, J. Tirupati Reddy. Mitronam, today we are continuing our fascinating the rice grains on chessboard series. That is same as wheat grains on chessboard series. This is part 10. And the title of today's topic is how many rice grains 360,000 million ton weightage can contain. What is this 360,000 million ton means? Based upon 20 milligrams an average grain weight of rice, we come up this weightage that is present on the entire chessboard having 64 squares. Chessboard has a 64 square. You start putting a 1 grain and doubling it for the every next square, 1, then 2, then 4, 8. By the time you reach 64, it will contain 18 quintillion grains. That means 18 billion grains. Billion is 9, again billion is 9, 9 is 18. 18 quintillion grains, that is 18 hexagrains. 18 followed by 18 zeros, that is the grains, rice grains, entire chessboard will have after you fill it. If that is the grain, if I assume each grain is around about 20 milligrams an average weight, this is the weightage you can discern. So the title of the topic is how many rice grains in 360,000 million tons contain. So after this presentation, you will get a very intuitive way. I will go over step by step. If you're just a basic understanding of English and even are not aware of any of these terms, you will be very comfortable understanding it. This fascinating things, the chessboard rice grain enigma. మిత్రులారా, మనం 1, 2, 4 అట్లా గ్రెయిన్స్ పెట్టుకుంటూ పోతే రైస్లో చెస్ బోర్డు మొత్తము పూర్తి చేసిన తర్వాత రైస్ గ్రెయిన్స్తో ఇన్ని గ్రెయిన్స్ ఉంటాయి అంటే 18 ఫాలోడ్ బై 18 జీరోస్, 18 క్వాంటిలియన్ గ్రెయిన్స్ ఉంటాయి మొత్తం బోర్డులో. దాన్ని ప్రతి ఒక్క రైస్ విత్తనము యొక్క వెయిట్ 20 మిల్లీగ్రామ్స్ అనుకుంటే ఇన్ని మిలియన్ టన్స్ వెయిటేజ్ ఉంటుంది. ఈ ఫ్యాసినేటింగ్ థింగ్ ఏమి జరిగింది అని ఇంట్యూటివ్గా సృజనాత్మకంగా మీ భవదీయుడు జొగ్గారి తిరుపతి రెడ్డి ఈ విశ్లేషణలో మీకు చెబుతాడు. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అవర్ సిరీస్ రైస్ గ్రైన్స్ ఆన్ చెస్బోర్డ్ సిరీస్. We are in 10. How many rice grains? 360 billion tons. 360 billion tons. I think there is a mistake here. 360, billion tons, because 360 followed by 3 zeros is the 360,000 million tons is billion tons. Entire chessboard contains 18.4 hexagrains. So the coming series on this presentations series, I will be posting them. Right now we are looking on this. They will be posted soon. All these presentations you can find at South Asia Maps J. Reddy Education Channel, YouTube channel, and there are 750 presentations put in round about 75 or so playlists. You can pick and choose the playlist of your choice. South Asia Maps J. Reddy. Before that, you have to have a clarity on this one. This is the basic one we discussed before, part 8. How many rice grains are present 1 million ton. It's very important. 1 million ton or million ton is a standard way of measuring the rice or wheat or corn, any agricultural harvest. You should not be confused with million ton with metric ton. Metric ton is just a ton. To be more perfect, you have to say 1 million metric ton. We generally drop the metric tons. So 1 million tons. And I have gone over step by step. You can consult that. If you have not looked at that, we will start with, that is, the 1 million ton contains 50 trillion grains. That means you have to start taking that as granted. This way also works, but how we came to that conclusion is not something like smoke and mirror. Smoke and mirrors means generally like a magical illusion. We just didn't bring the number somewhere from the cloud. That's what it means. It's nothing. It's not a smoke and mirror. So I have gone over that, and this I always put it so that if you didn't had a chance to look at the previous presentation, still you will get a clarity. That means, where is that? Okay, we started, and before that, and I want again show so that I am not pulling the numbers from somewhere. That I am trying to show everything is a logic, and 20 milligrams is the average rice grain. That means I googled it. A single grain of rice weight between 12 to 22 milligrams. With a husk, it will be 20-25% more. This 12 to 22, I rounded up to 20. That is subjective, but I came to so that the calculations will be easy. Even if you round it up to something different, the numbers won't change, but the logic remains the same. This is to let you know. 20 milligrams you have to remember. Based upon that, so per rice grain weight 20 milligrams, we have assumed it. So here a bag containing a rice, this is the grain, and again I have put it here 20 milligrams so that you have a clarity there. So this is assumption because 1 million ton has a 50 trillion grains. This is the presumption you have to make to be here. How we came to that conclusion was the previous presentation. Very easy to remember. A country called Taiwan or Formosa across the Taiwan Straits or Formosa Strait east of mainland China produces 1 million harvest, 1 million tons per year. So 1 million ton in actually produces 1.1 million ton 2024 harvest. I round it up to 1 million ton because it is Taiwan. You just remember 50. So trillion grains. So it's a Taiwan trillion. 1 million ton is 50 trillion grains. Trillion is 12 zeros. Billion before it 9 zeros. Million, you know the standard 6 zeros. Million is mega, billion is the big, that is the giga, trillion is a tera. So far it's very clear. 1 million ton, 50 million, this is the weightage. This is the number of the grains. You have to have a clarity on that. We added 10, that is means if it's like a 10 million tons, instead of 50, you make it 500. Again, all in trillion, 12 zeros. Suppose if it's the 36 million tons, because the 10 becomes around about 500 units, we say units. 36 means you should round about 3 times, that is 1500. You have a 6 there, so 1800 units. 1800 trillion grains. That means 1800 followed by trillion means 12 zeros, that is the tera grains. So far it's very clear. 1800 here, and we added one more zero, that is 360 million tons. Because it's 1800 here, it is 18,000 here. The remaining things are the same. The trillion gains. Remember, trillion is T, that is 12, and the next is 15, that is the Peta, or you can misspell is Feta, F15. So that will be 18 Peta grains or Feta grains, misspell it, 18 followed by 15 zeros, that is same as a quadrillion. So far it should be very clear. So from here we come here. 360 million tons is 18 petagrams, very clear. Then add 3 more zeros. That is the weightage of the total amount of the grains going to be placed on the entire chessboard, including the last square. Last square contains more than half of the whatever we have put in before. That is the concept of doubling. So from 360 to 360 million, same as 18 petagrains. 18 petagrains for 3 zeros, 18,000 petagrains. Peta or misspelled feta is 15. If you have 3 more, that become exa. That means 18 hexagrains. Very easy again, 18 followed by 18 zeros. That is the quintillion. Same hexa is a quintillion. 18 quintillion grains. I rounded up. Little bit different, so we are trying to make the things very clear. In the entire chessboard, entire board has something like 18 plus 18 zeros, 18 hexagrains, 18 quintillion grains. This is very clear so far. In 2024, we harvested 5,002 million tons of grain, the rice grain. So, 360, this is the entire 18, sorry, it should be hexa. I misspelled here on the chessboard. That means 360, 00, these are the million tons, divided by 530. Remember, this is the ton, this is ton, this is the yearly harvest. Suppose if you make this 132 into 1000, then you just take away these 3 zeros, it will be 360 or so. Because we nearly doubled it, 360 should become round about 700 or so. If you do the actual calculation, you get 675. I remember it is 6, 7, 8 years. These are all years. That means this is a year. Per year, you are producing an average 532 million tons of the harvest. Entire chessboard of the can hold 18 plus hexagrains or quintillion grains, that converted to 360 followed by 3 zeros million tons. You see, on the 64th, on that particular square itself, we'll have 9 quintillion grains, that is hexagrains. Entire board contains 18 followed by so many. Just we rounded it up to 18 instead of that. That's what it is. So I hope so far it's very clear. So what we are trying to show is mega, giga. That giga is a billion. This is the tera, peta, and exa. 18, 15, 12, 9, and 6 zeros. That means entire chessboard, including all the 64 squares, will have 18 followed by 18 zeros grains. These are the number. Assuming each grain is 20 milligrams, and assuming every year you can harvest 532 million tons, you have to harvest around about 675 years harvest to fill the entire grain. If you adjust the weight a little bit, it can be a little different, 600 to 700 years, we can say. That means even if you produce 1 billion tons of the rice grain per year, remember currently we are producing around about 500 million. That means you have to harvest round about 360 years. That is now round about 300 and number of the days in a year. So at that time, the heap, the entire 18 quadrillion grains, exact grains. I think I made a mistake here. 318 peta on the 318 peta. No, this is the total grains. Grains, that height will be 18 peta, 18. That is the exact grains. This is the mistake here. I will correct later. So the height will be if you put like a pile here. So the height is around about 4.5 kilometers, diameter at the base around about 20 kilometers. They come out in a weightage of 384 followed by 30 million tons. But my calculations, we come up around about 360. Why there is a difference between this 360 and 384? The reason is how other author has calculated, assumed the average weight of the rice grain. So that is the minor difference, but I am trying to tell you that you should not get confused if you see something different. So this is the entire rice grains present on the chessboard. This is the weight. So there is a mistake here. I will correct it. There should be 18 followed by 18 exa, not peta. So what did we? So we talked before how many rice grains can fit in 1 million. That is the Taiwan harvest per year. Global harvest is 532 million. How many rice grains can fit in? Here this is 50 trillion grains. This is the 27,000 trillion, 27 peta grains. Entire rice board contains 18 followed by 18 zeros. That is the grain that weighs 360,000 millions or 360 billions. And the entire chessboard. So that's what we are trying to show here. So 1 million ton is 50 trillion grains. So what did we talked about in a different way is 20 milligrams is the average rice grain weight. 1 million ton the Taiwan produces. If you start putting the grains there, you will stop somewhere around about 44. You move slowly, and if you harvest 532 years of the Taiwanese, that is the global world grain harvest 2024, you will stop somewhere in 56, and you continue until the 64th square, entire board included. This is number of tonnage you need. Then the grain number will be 18 followed by 18. That is 18 hexagrains or quintillions. That's what we are trying to show here. So what are we trying to do by doing this? Means humans lack intuitiveness, or human intuitiveness is very poor to grasp the implications of the exponential growth. The mathematical definition of exponential growth is not needed. Simply, it is the compounding or compounding rate of interest. Something growing at a certain rate after a certain stage will have such enormous implications that humans generally lack intuitiveness. Means they cannot naturally understand it, like the growing the economy every year 5% or something like that. Oil consumption, the coal consumption, and road building, electricity consumption, money creation. At certain stage, the implications are enormous, and this is one of the lacuna humans suffer. That's why by taking the rice grain, wheat grains, and a chessboard enigma, we are trying to understand that issue. So here that point is very clear. So you need to harvest 675 years to fill the entire board. At that time, you will have round about, this is the 9 here on this board, that means 18 quintillion grains, 18 followed by 18 zeros, round about 54, 55, that's the global harvest will stop there. Then you have to harvest round about 600 to 700 years to cover the entire chessboard. That is the enormous issue we generally fail to understand. That means if somebody is asked, okay, you go on doubling the rice grains on every square. So I have, let's say, 1 kilogram of grain. Maybe is it sufficient to fill the entire board? Or one bag of rice grains, 70 kilograms or 100 kilograms, 5, 6, 10 bags is enough. Or if you harvest the grain from let's say 10 hectares or 10 acres of land is enough. Generally, we think, oh, it should be enough. There are already, because by the time you come here, only there are 126 here, around about 32,000 here. Yeah, you can fill it, but that's not that simple. That means we lack intuitiveness to understand the complexity. That means you have to produce the rice grains for nearly 675 years to fill the entire globe. Or if you take the harvest from the Taiwan, you have to Taiwan is 1 million because the grain is 360 followed by 30 means 360,000 years you have to harvest the from the Taiwan to fill the entire chessboard. That is the complexity we are including. And see, previously, I did my calculations based upon the Wikipedia, like what is the global harvest of the rice per year. They say around about 77, this is the million tons. Later I recognized this is the type of the year, that is not correct, and verified various other sources. And finally found out this is the correct figure, or pretty close, FAO or any other sources. 2024-25, we have harvested 532 million tons of the grains. Remember, this M is the metric. So this is a 3 zeros here. Assume there are 3 zeros, 6 zeros, means 532 units, million tons, among which 145 units come from China, 145 come from India. That we'll deal later. So this is to say that this figure is not correct. In case you come there and if you listen this presentation, you may get lost. So I am just letting you know. And again, the rice is like you have a kernel here and you have bran here is a husk. If you take the husk, the weight of the grain will be little more, 20-25%. But we have taken a standard. Like they give here the standard rice grain. I think without husk weighs around about 25 milligram. I rounded it up to 20 milligram. So that's what it is. By the time you come to the 64th, on that particular square, what highlighted is 18 zeros. 9 followed by 18 zeros is 9 quintillion grains is present on just on that square 64. So far, if you count all the grains in the entire board, you just nearly double it. You have 18 followed by 18 zeros. Very easy to remember. Quintillion grains, grains is present. That if you convert it based upon 20 milligrams per rice grain, you get around about 360 followed by 3 zeros. Million tons or 360 billion tons. And by around about 54, we produce around about 27 peta grains. That is around about 532 million tons weightage. You have to harvest the same global in order to just navigate next 9 or 10 squares to fill the entire board. That is an enormous issue. So what did we cover today? We covered that entire chessboard contains 18 followed by 18 zeros grains. That is 18 quintillion grains, grains. We have taken the weight of the grain as 20 milligrams. If you convert this 18 followed by 18 zeros into 20 milligrams, it turns out to be roughly 360 billion tons. 360 followed by 3 zeros, million tons. That is 360 followed by 3 zeros, million metric tons. We have just added the fancy word metric here. That means the Taiwan produces every year around about 1.1 million tons grain weightage. We round it up to 1 million ton. That means the entire planet Earth produces around about 532 million tons grain global harvest per year an average. If you go on harvesting like that, global harvest, it takes around about 670 years, somewhere between 600 years to 700 years to cover the entire chessboard. To put it in the other way, if you take the harvest from Taiwan every day, you have to harvest 360,000 years harvest to fill the entire chessboard. That is the enigma of riddle. We have to fill the entire chessboard here. You have to global harvest around about 6 to 700 years or Taiwan harvest of 360,000 years. So that is the point we are trying to cover here, and hope this will be very intuitive and intelligent and you enjoyed it a lot. And if you have any questions or comments, you can post in the comments box. If you like it, even you can bring it to the notice of your friends. Next time, in the next presentations, Mitrana, that is part 11, we'll talk about all these three things in a generic way. How many rice grains present in how many million tons? 1 million ton and 532 million ton, 360 million tons, and so on. We'll discuss. And thank you very much. See you later, Mitrulara Bandhulara.